Former President Donald Trump is in Chicago for a Q&A session with attendees of the National Association of Black Journalists.
But his invitation has led to division within the group and protests outside the Hilton Hotel.
Eric Rung live in the South Loop with the latest on this. Eric?
Well, good afternoon. Those protests are well underway now. Not a huge turnout, but definitely several dozen people out here protesting the former president visit here to Chicago. There's also some fans of the former president out here as well, and as you can see, security is tight. Several groups representing different movements wanted to make sure former President Donald Trump's welcome back to Chicago wasn't a warm one.
Say it loud, say it clear. Say it loud, say it clear. Racists are not welcome here.
Trump is here to take questions at the National Association of Black Journalists. The invite has once again put his treatment of those he's dubbed the enemy of the people back in focus. More specifically, his past treatment of journalists of color, some of which he's accused of asking stupid and racist questions while calling others losers.
Sometimes there is no two sides. There's the truth and there's lies.
Historically, the National Association of Black Journalists invite presidential nominees to speak at its conventions. Still, Mundalin Ejearika, a retired Sun-Times columnist and past NABJ Chicago president, called the Trump invite a shock to the system.
Many of us do not see the reason to give him further audience to continue to spew those lies.
The president of the NABJ, Ken Lemon, however, sees value in having Trump appear. In a social media post, he said, "We understand the serious work of our members and welcome the opportunity for them to ask the tough questions that will provide the truthful answers Black Americans want and need to know." Other journalists don't see it that way. One of the co-chairs of the event stepped down, though still plans to attend. And the Tribe's Morgan Elise posted, quote, "I would like to unwelcome at NABJ for surprising Chicago with this Trump news." And a frequent target of Trump's ear in the press room, MSNBC and a White House correspondent for the GEO, April Ryan, posted the reports of attacks on black women White House correspondents by the then President of the United States are not myth or conjecture, but fact. Now, the former president is set to take the stage here in about a half hour. Now, Vice President Kamala Harris will not be at this year's convention, and we are just learning that the NABJ is trying to work out some sort of virtual appearance with the vice president and her team, but it would happen after the convention. We're in the South Loop. I'm Eric Rung, WGN News.
All right, Eric, thank you. We'll continue to track that. Vice President Kamala